We are Gathering of the Geeks. We're a podcast and a YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one about Uncanny Baloney. I am one of your hosts, Emmet. I'm joined by the Ted Lasso and my coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how you doing?
I'm bothered by the way you spelled baloney.
So you had no idea. Okay, so like baloney, the meat is Bolagna. Okay,
Bologna, yeah.
but yeah, Bologna, but baloney, like the act of something being foolish or whatever, that's how you spell it. I'm confused by it too. I don't know. It kind of hurts me. I could have put Bologna. I don't know if we want Uncanny Meat as the name of our show.
I don't see the problem. I see no issue here.
See no issue here with Uncanny Bologna.
No. Although, the Bologna spelling doesn't make sense either.
No, I don't get it. It's like
I think
colonel in the army. There's no
yeah,
R.
I didn't read that correctly for more years than I'm embarrassed to say.
The old colonel.
I'm not even going to explain that one, but yeah. It took me a while to realize, oh, that's Colonel. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's confusing.
Colonel and his fried chicken smiling at you.
Uh-huh. What's bologna like down in Texas? Bologna a big thing in Texas? You got like you got like big 4-inch thick pieces of bologna that people put on smokers and stuff. That sounds Texas like.
They actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually do. So we have what's called the State Fair of Texas here in Dallas, and it's this kind of like a giant carnival and there's exhibits like
I get you.
Like crap people want to look at. I guess there's a big auto show. They have a bunch of crap. I can't stand it. There's also a ton of fried foods though, and one of them is bologna. And they actually call it a South Dallas steak.
South Dallas
Steak, yes, because the state fair is in South Dallas. So, South Dallas steak. It's fried bologna though.
Fried bologna, pretty simple.
It's just bologna on a grill or a flat top of some sort. I've never watched them cook it.
Never eaten it before?
I've eaten it. Yes, I've tried it.
Oh, okay.
It's something. I mean, if you like bologna, it's cool. I really don't.
I've never liked bologna. Ever. Like I can assume my parents fed it to me when I was a kid, but yeah, eat the goddamn cheap meats.
Eat your bologna.
Eat the cheap meats. We're poor, that kind of thing.
Well, he doesn't stand for bologna.
I don't stand it. I cannot stand bologna.
Emmet does not stand for bologna.
The baloney is our ridiculousness. That is our show. As we're talking about baloney, that's what I was getting at. I know.
Anyway,
how's it going on this fine Sunday evening, everybody? Eric, Cookie, what's up? Phil, how you guys doing? How was your week? How was your couple weeks? Spam. Ooh, spam. That's another one.
Spam?
I know no spam for me. No.
Cookie, do you eat spam?
Just not, yeah.
Like Wolverine wants his blasted salami. I do like salami. Yes, that's a good time.
Wolverine likes salami. Is that a Deadpool thing?
No, it's from the old animated series. There's an episode where Wolverine is like digging through a refrigerator. Where's that blasted salami? Yeah. It's just one of the Wolverine is full of memes when you watch the old series.
Yeah, that's true.
He's just a meme machine.
I like that meme machine.
Yeah, it's a meme machine.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. So, how was your couple weeks, Chris? We took last week off. I had something going on. We watched SummerSlam on that Saturday. That had nothing to do with it, kind of. But what'd you get up to the last little while?
We took Sunday off.
Yeah, last Sunday. Yeah. We watched SummerSlam, and then
we did.
Okay. Yeah. What were we doing? We were bird watching. Is that what we were doing last week? I can't remember.
No, we decided to do a Depeche Mode cover band.
Oh, that's right.
You drove a van. I shouted out the window.
Now it's all coming back to me.
I know. It takes a minute, doesn't it? Come Undone is the best song they've made. I don't care what people say.
Interesting.
Next tour, though, you can do the screaming out the window or the singing.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And you could pick the song. I don't care. Just not hungry like a wolf. You'll scare the children. Ricky doesn't
Not the
eat
children.
spam, but she misses bologna. It's currently diseased here. I'm
What'd you
curious.
say? It's what?
It's diseased. I'm like you can't eat it. I'm very confused.
Like you'll turn into a zombie, or
What if you turn to like you ever seen bologna before? Well, we're going back to bologna. You ever seen it before they cut it and it's just this log of beans?
yeah, yeah.
You turn to that maybe? I don't know.
I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you
Oh
actually can't
man,
eat it then.
that poor baloney.
Meme machine sound like the name of a super kind of. Oh, that'll do it. Um, yeah. So the last 2 weeks, which didn't feel like 2 weeks to me,
Yeah.
they've been busy. Really, I've
Hmm.
been kind of busy, but I did read some things. I watched some things. Let's start with the reads, I suppose.
Nice.
Yes. I got around to reading. Did we talk about Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, that was a while.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. Then I'm lost. I read Wolverine Deep Cuts #2. I know that's
There
new
you
because I
go.
read
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's right. Hmm.
That's a fun one. It's from I talked about the first issue from it's from Chris Claremont, so it's a classic writer.
Hmm.
But I mentioned this before, and it's still here. He really does write it as if you've never picked up an X-Men comic and you have no idea who Wolverine is, which is
Oh,
fine, except for I think if there is one X-Men character you are familiar with, it is probably Wolverine.
this is the one.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess. If you've never heard of Cyclops, I forgive you. If you never heard of Charles Xavier, sure. Maybe you don't know who Polaris is. Totally get you.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
probably know Wolverine.
Hmm.
So, as someone who does know Wolverine, I find it kind of, I want to say bothersome, is what I'm going to
That is
call
weird.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, because again, it's cool for a person who's jumping on to the story for the first time, or to like a Wolverine book. It's great, I think.
Hmm.
But I also think there's too much hand holding. Like I
Hmm.
don't think we needed to have another recap of what Wolverine is and what he does in the second issue. I think the first one set it up just fine. But anyway,
Hmm.
that's my complaint about the book. Other than that, I enjoy it. It's just kind of like wacky Wolverine fights.
Hmm.
And this one, he takes down the Marauders by himself. So, and the
Is
Marauders
the
are responsible for the mutant massacre,
hmm,
which they murdered or tried to murder the mutants before.
son of a bitch?
It took the whole team to take them down before, but this time Wolverine's got it.
Hmm. Is
Um,
the deep cut title a double meaning, or is he just straight up cutting people deep with his
I
claws?
actually don't know yet.
Hmm.
I think it's just because it's Wolverine. They needed a name, and he has claws.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They needed a
Like
title
he's
like
not fighting people that are like strange. Like you all know, they're not deep cut.
no, none of
Right?
them. I mean,
No.
Sabretooth
No.
was in issue 1.
Okay.
Marauders in issue 2. I'm pretty sure Mr. Sinister is the final issue.
I was just saying, looking at the 3 and 4, he's on the cover of both of those ones.
Yeah, so
So,
it's going to be fun.
mhm.
But it's a
Interesting.
good book, and if you've never heard of Wolverine,
Yeah.
it might be for you.
I was gonna say my X-Men knowledge, maybe that's what I need. I need a hand holding book.
It does hold your hand, kind of.
Hmm.
It's like taking your kid to school for the first time, I guess. Like this is what you do. This is what it
Yeah, that's
is. I don't know.
right.
I couldn't think of another comparison. So
That's fair.
yeah, but it's a fun read. I do enjoy it. Just the hand holding.
Hmm.
I don't need it, but to the people who
Don't
do, I
need
hope it's working for them.
it. Nice.
Also, yeah. I also continuing the X-Men trend. I read Uncanny X-Men #1, which
Hmm.
I assume is what the title of the show is for.
Who
It
knows?
wasn't really about meat. It was never about meat. Um, yeah, so I read that. I'm guessing we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, though.
Yeah. Whenever we can
Uh,
talk about it now, unless you don't have another read.
I don't think I do. If
Cool.
I did, I forgot. I know. I
It'll
think
come
I
back.
read some kind of horror book, but I don't remember. It was from Stephanie
Mm.
Phillips. Now I can't remember the title of it.
Huh. Horror, eh?
Yeah. Anyway, Uncanny X-Men was a blast. I really
Yes.
like this one. The only issue I have with this one is, which is funny, considering my issue with Wolverine, there's not enough hand holding in this one.
That's right.
'Cause I
Mm-hmm.
don't know some of the stuff that's going on, but it's also my fault because I didn't read the ending of the Krakoan stuff. I was completely on strike.
Right. Yeah, that's basically how I feel about it too. I like this one better than X-Men that we
Oh,
read
really?
a little while ago.
Yeah, that was good.
Basically, just because it's got Wolverine, Jean,
Rogue.
and yeah, Rogue. Sorry, Rogue and Gambit. That the team sells it for me, and then they eventually call Scott at another moment. It's like, oh, I read that too, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, like the start of the Marvel's last time on, it's talking about the Krakoan era. I'm like, oh no, I don't know what happened at the end. Just like you're saying, I don't really know any of what happened. So, but I think the team helps with that. You don't need as much of the story to be invested in this first issue, just because of, for me personally, just because it was the team that we had.
Yeah, the team is good.
We see Wolverine in the blue and the yellow suit. Classic stuff. Rogue looks like Rogue. It's all very visually helped me a lot, and not having to know everything that's happening, because I kind of resound to this fact that I'll never understand an X-Men book. Unless it's deep cuts, I guess.
Try deep cuts.
4 issues. Hold my hand. That's the
Take
X-Men
2
book
call
for
me
me.
in the morning.
Yeah.
Read 2
but yeah,
text me in the
yeah,
morning.
I really like the art for this one as well.
I do too.
I thought it looked really good. I like just the characters. I like the kind of the crossover from X-Men with the Cyclops thing. Yeah, I had a great time with this one. So I'm excited. I'm more excited to read Uncanny than I was to read X-Men.
Yeah, this is a solid team they put together, and these first 2 books have the good team. I think. Well, this has a better team than the first book, the next
Correct.
book, hands down. But then the next book that's coming is the real head scratch. Like, why does this one exist?
Which one's that one?
I don't even know what it's called.
Well, we missed X-Force. Did you check out X-Force?
I didn't want to.
Yeah, that was last week, and I didn't.
Is that the one from Jerry Duggan?
No, that's Jeffrey Thorne writing Uncanny, or writing X-Force. So there must have been one other one that we missed.
Yeah, there's another main title. There's Uncanny, X-Men, and I don't know what the other one's called. I know it's not astonishing. 2024, the year of seeing Wolverine in the blue and yellow suit. It kind of is. Yeah, I liked the book a lot too. The art was really cool. I liked them fighting that dragon. That was neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that surprised the hell out of me.
I wasn't expecting that, and I like that Gambit had a big role in this. Mm-hmm. I think I might finally have a soft spot for Gambit.
Because I think Deadpool and Wolverine's helping you out with that too.
I might have, because I've never really been a giant fan of Gambit. I thought he was fine. I thought his costume was weird, and he throws, cards that blow up. I don't get it. Yeah. But in this, and also in X-Men 97, he is really coming around to the character quite a bit. 100%. Probably more X-Men 97 than anything. So it was cool to see him. And that the thing at the hospital with the kid, that was really unique and dark and sad. Because I thought we had like a X-Men team F yeah moment. We're trying not to get the E rating tonight. So I thought we would have one of those moments, and then oh no, we are not. It's back to like, this is Daniel Warren Johnson shit.
Yeah, well that and that's where there's an issue of Wonder Woman from Tom King where Diana goes to visit a kid who's sick as well, and I thought that's where they were going, but then it takes a different turn with like what happens to this person, and like the way they're sensing him and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's a little different.
When he becomes Optimus Prime, I just did not expect it. He just whispers, "Roll out."
Oh yeah, of course.
Good read though. I think this is going to be a fun book. Gail Simone is, I think one of the best writers. So we're in good hands. Also, you mentioned the art. I actually think Cyclops' suit looked better here than it did in 100%. The other book. And I loved it in the other book. I think it's a great suit. But yeah, Uncanny X-Men was a good time. Eric said Space Ghost continues to be a fun read. I only read the first issue. I need to go back and see how
Yep.
that's going. Also, same thing with Dick Tracy. I was so hyped on that first issue. I've only read one. When you introduce people to the character that everybody knows, that is Wolverine Deep Cuts. Yeah. The second issue of Tamaki Zatanna, and he's loving it. I heard that is good. I wanted to read the new Gotham City Sirens book this week, but I didn't get around to it.
Yeah, that's on my list as well. I saw that when I was mucking around today.
Yeah, there was actually a lot of indie books too I wanted to get to. There's a lot from Boom and Image, but I just didn't have time. Next week.
So the only other X-Men books that I'm seeing, there was one from a few weeks ago called Nyx, NYX.
Yeah, not interested in that either.
Which looks like it's got Miss Marvel on it,
And
Laura, and then some other people.
Yeah,
and then
it's basically
another
Laura
one,
versus Miss Marvel.
And then another one that comes out in this week. It's called X Factor.
That's the one.
And that one's by Greg Land. Or sorry, no, sorry, that one's by somebody Russell, Mark Russell.
Oh, then I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I'm not sure which one is the one you were thinking about. But those are the only ones I see, and then we're back around to X-Men issue number 2, not long after that. So
Exceptional X-Men. That's what.
Exceptional.
Yeah, I have zero interest in Exceptional, and I don't think I will read that one.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fair. It's fair. It's fair.
But I'm all in on Uncanny and regular X-Men. And by default, deep cuts because maybe I want my handheld.
You just need a little cleanse.
Sometimes. Back to basics, Wolverine tearing stuff up, and then these two books are kind of like adventures. I like them.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how if they stay connected, like if we get more crossover with some of the characters.
I'm sure we will. I'm guessing this is the new plan. Keep them connected instead of separated.
That's not a bad idea.
Even harder for someone to jump on.
Well, yeah.
To hell with new readers. They got deep cuts. They don't need anything else.
Yeah, like I think it's mentioned in the byline for deep cuts where it says new and old readers, but I wonder if they could do that. Be like, for completely new readers, like big arrows pointed over here. This is the book for you if you know nothing about what's happening and you just want a fresh story.
If I had a comic store, I think I would have a section like that where it would just be like number ones, or this is the part, like a wall of books like that with arrows and just signs.
All number ones, cool looking covers, books you don't have to even know what they're about.
I think every comic book store needs that.
That would be good.
Even the apps like the DC app, the Marvel app, they could have something like that. And it would work really well.
I think so.
Or we could all read Howard the Duck.
No, why wouldn't we?
I know the Chip Zdarsky run. What about it? But those are my reads. What did you read?
Nice. So from not this past week, but the week before, we had Saga was back for issue number 67, which is kind of hard to believe. They're calling it like the 12th season. I don't know what that means. I guess it's the 12th arc of the story. So just kind of nice to have Saga back again. Big fan, obviously. So that was 2 weeks ago. What else? What was from last week that I wanted to talk about? Oh, Absolute Power number 2 from DC. That's Mark Waid. That's Dan Mora. That's good stuff. I really liked issue number 1 when it came out last month, but issue number 2 takes it up even more with, I don't know, like some really awesome action sequences that obviously Dan Mora draws to perfection. But the story is just getting really interesting with this idea of, and what's interesting is they're talking, the Justice League is getting attacked by Amanda Waller and Failsafe and blah, 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 and Queen Brainiac. Yeah, with the Batman version of Failsafe. Did you get to that part?
Batmans are in Raw.
No, well, it's not now. It's what happened at the end of that run was Batman or Failsafe put himself in a Batman robot body but told all the Robins that it was actually Batman in there, that Batman had died, and he put his consciousness inside this Batman. So anyway, so it's failsafe inside of Batman's body, a Batman robot body. Obviously going out to steal the powers of the Justice League and just basically do away with all metahumans and all that kind of stuff. What's interesting is that the Justice League talks about stuff that I missed from, I forget when it was, whenever the Justice League broke up and like disbanded and stopped being a thing, which is why we don't have their comics right now, not for a while anyways. So that's kind of cool, just getting, because much like reading X-Men 1 and Uncanny X-Men 1, I don't know what happened in the Krakoa age, so I don't really know what's happening. That was the same way with Absolute Power number 1, but with Absolute Power number 2, just getting more of that story filled out. And this is a really, really great book to read. And, you know, there was lots of talk at San Diego Comic-Con lately about DC and like what Mark Waid is doing, what Dan Mora is doing. Like, it's going to be, if this is the kind of, and obviously we didn't read World's Finest, and, you know, we keep telling ourselves every week that maybe we probably should get back to it.
One fine day.
Yeah. But like this just cements like these two handling a lot of what's happening in DC for like their all in initiative that's really good sign for me specifically, just because Absolute Power I'm just enjoying the hell out of. So
are you looking
really great
forward
stuff
to like Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman then?
I'm looking forward to them, yes, but cautiously optimistic, pessimistic even about some of the titles, like Batman. Like we talked about that, this weird Batman with no powers and his legs are the size of trees and very, very different.
Did you see that his ears on the cowl are batarangs?
Yeah, did you see this suit? Like the cape kind of is a weapon, like it moves in certain ways.
I kind of like that actually. That I've kind of come around to because it sounds neat. But I think it'd be better if he wasn't built like Scott Steiner in the late '90s. But I think the cape thing is cool. The ear batterings though, that I am not. I don't know. I gotta read it. I guess I've seen it.
And that's what I have to keep telling myself. Like I think even there's a Superman issue and there's a cover of it, and like his cape has like weird dusty things coming off of him. And somebody asked the writer, I think Jason Aaron's writing it. What's that?
Like sparkly things?
Yeah, like it's like, well, the cape is red, so it's like there's dust, and it's apparently the Krypton. All the souls of Krypton live on his cape in some way or another. So it's like there's pieces of
to go to a dry cleaners.
Yeah, he needs to get it cleaned up for sure. So yeah, like
don't use your washer at home. Use like a laundromat washing machine.
So yeah, the takes and the imagination being used for the absolute stuff is going to be quite wild, and I'm just interested to see how it all goes, because like a lot of it's going to be quite different from what is coming out now, just like what we know of these characters, which is not a good or a bad thing. It has to work, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm open-minded.
For now.
We'll see how it goes.
That was it for new stuff that I got to. I really wanted to read some more new things. I just didn't do it. But one thing I did do, and I can't remember. That last weekend when we didn't have a show, I went away and I took a book with me to read, Silver Surfer Black, from Donny Cates and Trad Moore to read. I've had it for a little while. I read it digitally, I think, not when it came out, but just because. So I read that, and then at the start of the book, it explains how this is kind of how Silver Surfer Black is like a sequel to Donny Cates' Guardians of the Galaxy run. So I started looking into that, and I found out that Donny Cates did a Thanos book. And in a roundabout way, I found out that his Thanos book was a sequel to Jeff Lemire Thanos book, which I had no idea was a thing. You think you know everything about your favorite comic book creator, and you find out that he wrote a Thanos book, 12 issues, which was quite interesting. 12 issues. So I read that over the last week or so. Again, I know nothing about Marvel really. I basically know anything about Thanos just from the movies. So I don't really know. I think this takes place after Infinity War, or is it called Infinity War or Infinity Gauntlet? I don't
Infinity
know what the
Gauntlet.
actual Marvel. Yeah.
Gauntlet.
So I think it takes place after that point in time. There's no last time on, which is kind of frustrating for the first issue. So yeah, I read that, and it's got characters I don't know. It had one character I did know or two characters, obviously Thanos and Nebula. So that was kind of fun. And then it's got Thanos' brother. It's got Thanos' son.
Thanos has a
And
brother?
yeah, his brother is named Thane. Thane. Uh-huh.
Creative.
Yeah, very much so. So it's all about people trying to kill Thanos and where this Thanos is afterwards, kind of living his life after he's already done all his myrtleizing and all that kind of stuff. It looks into like inner demons of Thanos as we get into the Donny Cates run. So it's quite an interesting book. That I didn't know. I don't know if I'll ever like read it again, but like for reading a character that I don't really know, like Thanos, not really one that I know much about, and really I don't know shit about the Marvel universe in general. But reading like Jeff Lemire is kind of fun in the Marvel universe, which is not something he does anymore. Like aside from Moon Knight, which is I know that he did, I didn't know that he had done any other Marvel stuff before. So it was kind of cool just to read a Marvel book. And I was wondering about that, Chris, if if you stick to a director or a comic book creator that you really, really like, and you don't know that they have made something, and you just kind of stumble upon it, you're like, oh, this is interesting. I don't know if that's ever happened with anybody, like a director or even a comic book creator, that they have something that's in their archive that you don't know about, and you should, because you're a fan.
I don't think so, because usually when I get into like a certain writer, director, or whatever, I kind
Mm-hmm.
of seek out whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like first order of business. So that's just me though.
Fair.
But like in the case of comics, I think it's a little different because a lot of these writers have written so many things
Mm-hmm.
that, of course, something will get lost in the shuffle. And I'm not even sure I have a favorite comic writer really.
Really?
I don't think I do.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I do. I'm thinking about it. I love Scott Snyder, but some of it's too wordy. So I don't know if I call him my favorite.
Yeah. I used to
Uh,
think that too. I used to be a
yeah,
big fan of Scott Snyder. Be like, oh, he's one of my favorites. I'm like, slow down, pal.
yeah. Really like Chip Zdarsky, but same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, but I become a James Tynion fan. And like he's a guy who does write so much stuff, it is hard to keep up with. I'm sure there's something he's written I don't know about.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess it's more likely with comics than it would be movies and TV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned about James China being written. He writes so much, and that's the thing. Same thing with Lemire. Like I figured I had known everything that he wrote. Like I've been all over his any kind of biography that I can read about
Hmm.
anything that he's done. But I don't know how the Thanos book kind of slipped my mind, and even some of the new 52 DC stuff I haven't read that much of. Like the Frankenstein book. He did the Shade, whatever that team is called. Is it Shade?
I know. I
Shade.
actually read that. I didn't know he wrote it.
Yeah, so he wrote that book, and then he wrote Justice the Unlimited book, which he's doing again.
Hmm.
Some other stuff that you just you feel like you've read everything, and there's just some stuff that you haven't got to. So that was kind of cool to read a Marvel book, which I never read, and then a Thanos book by Lemire and Johnny Cates, which was fun.
Sounds like fun. It was a good rabbit
Yeah,
hole to go down.
exactly, and that was the problem with it. I went down a rabbit hole, and now I've got other stuff to read now. So we'll keep
Welcome.
we'll talk about that next week, I guess. So okay. So what about some watches? What did you watch over the last little while?
I kind of watched a lot of stuff, but I want to start with what I didn't like first, just to get it out of the way.
Do it.
I got to see Cuckoo this weekend,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't like this at all. It was not for me. Like I knew walking out of the theater, I was like, no, that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. But now, like almost 24 hours later, it's definitely don't want to see this again. Once was enough. I don't even know how to describe the plot really, because the movie is so vague about what it is. Like it doesn't treat it like it's embarrassed of what it is, but it almost treats it as if we are supposed to just automatically be on board with what they're
Mm-hmm.
showing us. And it's really just Hunter Schafer being paranoid for 2 hours and Dan Stevens doing what he does, which is always great.
What's the deal with Dan Stevens? He's just everywhere.
He is, and I think I'm now convinced he just doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, he understands the assignment. He shows up to work and he does the thing.
That's right. That's
I
right.
love him, and he's great. Put him in everything. And this
Mhm.
isn't, and it's funny too because I don't know if he's American or what he is, but here he's German, and I wouldn't even think twice about it. Like, oh yeah, he's German. But then you watch like Abigail. Oh, he's a New Yorker. I guess so. I don't know what the guy is, but he's great. I know that.
He's British from the United Kingdom.
Surprises the hell out of me. But he's kind of the highlight for me. And Hunter Schafer is really good too. Anything they do, I'm always interested in too. But the movie itself, it has like the tone of Megan, but not in a good way.
Hmm.
Uh, it's like silly, then it wants to be scary. I feel like it's missing like early 2000s Nicolas Cage in there somewhere.
Anyway, I didn't
It's
know this movie was a thing, and all of a sudden it was out, and I saw it. And, like, it felt like Longlegs was just taking up so much of the space for horror, and then Cuckoo tried to sneak in there.
well
I
before
don't know.
Longlegs, actually the hype around Longlegs started to build. Cuckoo was supposed to be gigantic, and I
Oh.
remember when Borderlands moved to the same day, people were like, "Well, I guess Borderlands is going to kill Cuckoo, right?" I don't think so. Not to kick a dog while it's down, or whatever the phrase is. I don't know. Beat a dead horse, something, whatever.
Mhm.
Or horse and zebras. Um, but yeah, Cuckoo is not for me. It's not something I would recommend. There's a character in it that looks like Hatchet Face from Crybaby, and they're meant to be terrifying. I didn't think so. I just kept thinking of Crybaby, the Johnny Depp movie. Nobody's fine. And now I kind of just want to watch Crybaby.
You probably will.
If it's streaming, I most likely will. That's one of those horrible movies I just enjoy.
One of those, eh?
It's a good time. Cookie says, I'll wait till Cuckoo is streaming. Maybe not even then, if we're being honest." Phil says it's Cuckoo. I think Phil is a bit nicer to Cuckoo than I am here.
Hmm.
But yeah, it just wasn't for me. On the good side of things,
Oh, that
I
was quick. I thought
watched.
you were going to go have a long list of bad things to start off
No,
with.
that was just so bad I wanted to get out of the way. Like, I was in the theater squirming, and the movie's not even 2 hours. I was squirming like a child. Oh, Phil says it feels like it wants. I feel like it wants to be a B movie, but doesn't want to commit fully to the concept. I enjoyed it for the ride.
Nice guy, that Phil Walsh.
Well, he's a good guy. I like him. We do a lot together.
Yep, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. On the good side of things, though, the stuff I did like, Cape Crusader, I binged that in the course of 2 days. That
Mhm.
was fantastic. We talk a lot about that on DC Unlimited, but a quick version here is I love it. I love everything about it. I want more immediately. Then I think I mentioned that I'm still paying for AMC Plus because I wanted to watch the Dracula series
Mhm.
on there. Okay, I finally started watching it, and I'm considering canceling AMC Plus anyway. It's such a bizarre take. Like, it's not that I don't really like it, but I don't know if I need to finish it at the point I'm
Mm.
at. But it's kind of entertaining. Jonathan Rhys Myers plays Dracula. They're in London, but he's pretending to be an American man living in London instead of being
Mhm.
himself.
Mhm.
And he's like an industrial revolutionist trying to bring electricity to the old world. And it's all about like political standings, and he's trying to kill the Order of the Dragon, which is where Dracula's namesake comes from. Van Helsing is there. It it's a it's an intense take. Is the way.
Ooh, interesting.
Renfield is actually played by Jep from Sweet Tooth, that same actor.
All right then.
Yeah, it's a take. It's something.
He's a big fella.
He's a big fella to be Renfield. Yeah. And he's perfectly sane in this. This is a sane Renfield.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and he's not like eating bugs and stuff either. He's
Oh,
normal
you
dude.
gotta have meat and bugs.
I mean, it's fun when he does, but you don't have to. I like when he eats bugs.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't like when he eats bugs to get superpowers, but that's a whole other can of worms. But it's fun. I just don't know if I need to finish it, if that makes sense.
Mm.
It's also oddly graphic, like the violence in it. He
Hmm.
tore into somebody in an episode, and I was surprised they showed it. And then they cut her head off. Spoiler. For
Works for
like a
me.
20-year-old show.
I was gonna say, I thought the way you were describing it, I thought you were talking about like this is a new show, but it's 10 years old.
Yeah, it's older.
Nice.
It was on ABC, and I just never got around to it this time.
Hmm.
But it's kind of fun. I don't know. We'll see if I keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I
Sorry,
also
I need that other Dracula series from a couple years ago. Did you watch that one?
with Class Bang,
Mm,
the BBC one.
yes.
Yeah, I like that one. It's 3
Did you?
episodes. They're each
Mhm.
about 90 minutes. Episode 1 and 2 are both fantastic. 3 is a shit show.
Yeah. Why does it do that? What happened? Like, why did they do that with number 3?
Well, because it skipped around time. So the
Mm.
first episode is kind of like the regular story from the novel.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
second episode is the Voyage of the Demeter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third episode does a time jump to modern day. And it's the weirdest thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just bizarre. But the
Mm-hmm.
first 2 episodes are definitely worth watching.
Yeah.
Just
For
stop
sure.
after that.
Yeah.
Unless curiosity really gets you.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I also watched Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Mm-hmm.
That was a damn good time. I like that franchise, so I think they're just fun movies.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch that? I saw you were going to.
I said I was going to, and I did not. I played Fortnite for a very long time instead.
So just to recap, because I believe you said who else is going to get drunk and watch a movie. Did you get drunk and play Fortnite
I played Fortnite for a very long time.
while intoxicated?
Oh yes. And
Did you argue
yes.
with children on the microphone?
No, I made sure to turn my microphone
Oh,
off.
okay. Okay, cool.
Those kids don't want nothing, I have to say.
Well, I think I like to visualize it as the opposite.
It's mostly me yelling at myself for dying and doing stupid shit. So
Well, that's good too. Maybe that the kids want to hear that.
Yeah, no. So I do want to watch Bad Boys for Life. I'm hoping to get to it this week because I saw a clip on Facebook, Instagram, or something of one of the shootout scenes with Reggie, where it's in and out of the security cameras and stuff. That's the way they visually shot that scene.
Oh yeah, that was really interesting.
It just looked like there were some really interesting different shots in the movie that has me kind of excited.
Those directors, like I'm not it's funny, if you listen to Tis the Podcast with Anthony Caruso, he had our friend Cookie on there and they were talking about Maxine, and they made the point that neither of them are the kind of person who could pick out like specific shots in a movie or lenses or something like that. But in this movie, I feel like I am a cinephile, and like that's fancy because they really do some neat stuff. Like that was cool. The whole final sequence is shot in a really neat way. There's just some cool stuff in there. So the action's good. The story's really fun. You can't really go wrong with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, which I think is kind of funny because if you separate them, one of them is usually successful, while the other is not. One needs the other, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's a fun movie. I like the action, the story. It's very predictable, though. Like I'm not going to give it away, but as soon as you see a certain character, you just know.
So he's got that look about him.
Yeah, he's got that look. They've got that look. As soon as you see them, it's like you. But yeah, that's a good time. Nice. I think all those movies are fun. Though. I enjoy them. And lastly, I rewatched Ready or Not. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, of course. Love it.
Ready or Not's just fantastic. It holds up so well, too. I think, I don't want to say it's Radio Silence's best because I'm too partial to Abigail.
Sure.
But Ready or Not is just magic. It's this concept that really shouldn't work, it doesn't even make sense if you try to think about it. It really doesn't. This family, like a cult, make board games with Satan, essentially. And it just, and there's wacky characters throughout. Like the aunt is hilarious. The aunt, I love that character. You have the brother-in-law who reminds me of Ortho from Beetlejuice. He's fun. It's just a fun one. And Samara Weaving really just kills it. She is so good. I don't know why she's not in more stuff.
I was just thinking that exact thing. What's I'm just gonna check out her IMDb page, see if she's got anything going on. But it feels like she should be a star.
Yeah, I don't know why she's not. Like she was in the babysitter movies on Netflix. Those are, well, the first one's really fun. I like the first one a lot. The second one was okay. But then she had that role in Scream, which is
right,
probably the worst, in my opinion, the worst opening of any Scream film. And she might be the worst character in any Scream film. And we've seen.
Oh no!
I mean, everybody has seen Scream 3. I think she still might be the worst.
Oh, Scream 3.
Yeah. I'm gonna rewatch that though. It's been a while.
Oh my god!
Phil says she was. We should watch that together.
Oh my god, it's so bad. I did that. I think it was last Halloween where I watched them. She's like, oh my god, it's so bad. Yeah. Oh well.
Phil says she was wasted in Scream 6, and he agrees she should be in more films. Oh, Ian's talking about Bad Boys. Reggie's scene was the highlight. Such an air-punching moment. It was really good.
It's so funny, the Reggie character. Sorry.
Yeah, he is. Ready or not, though, I think that it's also like every cast member is memorable. Even the kid. That one kid. Just a good time, though. I like Radio Sounds. I really cannot wait to see what else they do. Because for me, they haven't really missed. I may not love Scream 6, but I still enjoy it. I feel like Scream 6, they had a leash on them or something, though. Because something is weird the way there's no death, there's no stakes. It's just an adventure in New York.
A good time.
It's just a great time in New York City. So, but those are my watches.
Have you seen some of the? Yeah. How many times is that now? 3?
Just 3.
Yeah, that's fine. How many of their other movies had you seen? VHS? Have you seen that one, or Devil's Due?
Those I have not seen, but I've seen both Scream films, Ready or Not, and Abigail, of course.
I feel like I know something about this Devil's Due thing.
I think I've heard of that one.
Mm-hmm.
VHS I'm familiar with, but I kind of don't like anthologies that much.
Oh, is that what that one is?
Yes, VHS is anthology.
Hmm.
I feel like anthologies are kind of, the problem is like you might have 1 out of 4 stories that's good. They all can't be Trick or Treat. You know what I mean? Or
sounds like us talking about. That sounds like us talking about the anthology comics from a couple weeks ago. Which is not every story can be good.
No, and you're sitting there and you have to see it. In a movie, you have to see it.
That's right.
It's not like a comic I can just flip ahead. Okay, this ain't working for me, pal. In a movie, I'm locked in to watch God knows what. So, I mean, to me, the epitome of, or I guess Creepshow is big for people too, as far as anthologies go. I've never seen Creepshow, but Trick or Treat I've seen several times, and I can vouch for that one.
That's a once a year watch.
Yes,
as far as I'm concerned.
Maybe more than once a year. I kind of want a Sam statue for Halloween this year. My kid might get freaked out from it, though. We'll see.
Yeah, you got to put it somewhere in the dark, so she turns the light on, it's right in her face.
I was thinking putting it outside, but the neighbors might also have a problem. We'll see. But that's all I watched.
Sweet. Just going back to Cape Crusader for a second. Yes, you can check out Chris's, Phil's, and Anthony's thoughts on it on the latest episode of DC Unlimited. I don't recall, or I think you did say what your favorites were. If it was and Be a Villain and The Night of the Hunters, I think you really liked.
Whatever episode 9 is called.
And 9.
Yeah,
The Killer Inside Me, the penultimate
yes,
episode with
that is
Two
a
Face. Yeah, so those are your three faves from the series.
yeah. Those episodes are both fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed both those. The Be a Villain one though specifically, I think is just flawless.
Mm-hmm.
It is just flawless, and it's also cool because they take a villain who I don't know if Clayface is particularly loved throughout the fandom.
Hmm.
And most people, when you think Clayface, you think of the giant shit monster,
Correct.
or you think of the funny one from Harley Quinn. And
Mm.
this takes it back to the original version of Clayface with a twist. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
is the man of a thousand faces, but they also use the clay as his face, which is
Right.
interesting. It's a good twist. Plus, he looks like the Shadow, so a million points for that.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think about episode 6, kind of the supernaturally type take on Batman with the ghost?
That was a interesting time.
Do you like and like the whole idea of like Batman grounded and he shouldn't fight gods and all that kind of stuff? What do you think about like this episode? Kind of stood out a little bit more than the others just because of the ghost aspect to it. What do you think about that?
I don't mind when he goes up against like supernatural elements and stuff because
Mm-hmm.
he's a comic book character.
Mm-hmm.
He can do stuff. And it just doesn't bother me. I think that it could also be unique depending how it's done. And I also think in a city like Gotham, there's going to be weird stuff. Just like
Sure.
in any other city, there's going to be weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fine. This particular episode, though, I was waiting, not to spoil it, but you kind of watch it thinking there's going to be like a Scooby Doo moment.
That's what I kept waiting for.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's Mr. Whatever. It's Mr. Smith from down the street. He owned the
Sure.
carnival back in the 40s. But it does something different. It also
Mm-hmm.
has another character in there who you people may or may not recognize. Not going to spoil it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a cool little cameo kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind Supernatural because they also revisit Supernatural with the Nocturne episode,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I like Nocturne. I think that's a cool character. What they
Mm-hmm.
did with the character was slightly different,
Mm.
but that's also not a very popular character, so you can kind of mold her however you want.
Mm-hmm.
They
That
kept the
was one of
basic.
the Yeah, that was one of the surprises I had thought watching the first season and all 10 episodes. It's like they didn't take the easy route with the characters.
No,
They didn't just throw us in all the regulars and be like, here we go. We don't have to try. We can just do Batman and put it in his rogues gallery and it'll do well. What I liked is that they did the deep cuts. They didn't make Clayface the shit monster. They did change the Penguin. And there's the character from Moving Target. Like those last couple episodes before the Two-Face and Harvey Dent stories, it's all people that the regular, even the most common Batman fan, will have no idea who it is. And I think that's I give credit to the creators of the show for not taking the easy way out and just giving us exactly all what we want, more or less. As they gave us they gave us different characters from what we thought we knew, and then they gave us completely new characters that some had never seen before, which I really thought was it's interesting to keep the show different because it's not just the animated series. It's carving its own path as its own thing with these. I don't want to say B-list characters. Like I don't even know if Nocturne's a B-list character. Like they're C or
no,
D list.
yeah, I was gonna say she's pretty
So
far down the totem pole.
yeah, exactly. So I really am encouraged by that going into hopefully a second season, that they just keep they're not giving us the easy route, even with what we saw at the very end of the show. Like they're still doing something different. They're not just giving us the classic stuff.
I feel like the second season will be the classic stuff, though.
Hmm.
I feel like we'll have at least, well, maybe to be like a mix,
Yeah.
because this was sort of a mix of
Hmm.
classic, sort of. But I'm just excited to see where it goes. I think they did a wonderful job with everything.
Hmm.
All my complaints are nitpicks, really. Some characterizations didn't work for me, namely just Harley Quinn. I was
Hmm.
pretty much cool with everything else in the takes that they've done, especially because
Hmm.
I think as you watch it, you I don't want to say it's disappointing thing. As you watch it, there's certain things you hope you get the payoff for.
Mm.
So I'm glad they did it with that in mind,
Mm.
I guess. And also, it does feel like animated Pattinson. So if you enjoy the Batman, you'll very likely enjoy this. If you enjoy the animated series, you will probably like this too. It
Yeah.
looks really close,
Hmm.
warts and all. Sometimes the characters just look like moving boxes, like just cardboard boxes that move. That's what they look like sometimes. But it's okay. It
Hmm.
works. It's just, he would have got away with it too if it was for that meddling Batman and his butler. Phil says it was the best of both worlds, unique takes on the mythos while still keeping it familiar. Exactly. And I think that is what's going to continue. It
Hmm.
also reminds me of Beware the Batman in a way, because Beware the Batman took this same kind of formula and oddly enough also made Harvey Dent the overarching story.
Mm.
It's kind of funny, like they read each other's homework here, or they read the homework.
Sure.
Like, hey, we could do that, but better. And they do. Eric says, I want some classic 1939, 1940 Batman stories we haven't seen on screen yet. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to see too, because the way they built this world, you can go back into the well and just pick stuff. And they
Hmm.
don't have to be these marquee characters. You know, like they made Clayface work,
Hmm.
they made the female penguin work. I just wish they would have gave her a different name, not Oswalda. But I've harped
Yeah.
about that last time.
And maybe less of a rocket.
I
Less
kind of like
rockets, maybe.
I
Yeah.
like the rocket, but the point is the penguin was still cool.
Yeah.
Um, but I think there's room for a mix, especially if it's 10 episodes again. I could see them doing another mix of the characters,
Hmm.
and then probably do some takes. I'd like to see Black Mask, of course. I think he'd fit in really well.
I
I,
agree with that. Yeah.
I like to see the Riddler, Poison Ivy, and then throw me some new stuff. Give me the
Hmm.
Mad Monk. Give me Hugo
Yeah.
Strange.
I think that makes the most sense, and I think that's what's so good about the show. And you talked about the idea of Two Face being like the center storyline. I think that's an important idea to the show. Like you can watch these out of order if you wanted to. Like if you just wanted to watch the Clayface one
Yeah, he
or
could.
Nocturne or whatever, you could just watch them and be okay with it. But then if you watch them in that order, you get that overarching story of the corrupt GCPD and all that kind of stuff, Flass and Bullock, and then you get the Two Face story and like the Rupert Thorne stuff. I really think that's that was a I think that really helped the show having a continuous story all the way through. But then you just throw in the episode, the villain of the week idea. I really like that aspect to it. Really did. And one of the
Totally.
things that I had a question or thought about was, when we were talking about X-Men '97 as we were watching it, and the type of stories that they were telling, the themes and the tone of the show. I often wondered who the show was for, if
Mhm.
it's for new X-Men people or old X-Men people like us. And I think that show is for us, not for new
Oh,
X-Men.
I think so too. Yeah.
What do you think about Cape Crusader? Do you think this is for us who watch that animated series, or do you see this as a new jumping on point for, I don't know, 10, 12, 13, 9 year olds, that kind of thing?
I don't see kids watching it really because
Yeah.
it's darker than the animated series.
Yeah,
But I
people
would
dying
say,
straight up.
yeah, but it's perfect for someone who's not familiar with Batman to check it out. And
Hmm.
again, if you've seen the Batman and you enjoyed it, this is your cup of tea.
Yep.
But also, it does cater to our group, I would say.
Hmm.
So it goes either way. I think, as Phil said, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I like it, and I
Give me
hope we don't
more.
have to wait so long for some more.
Oh, maybe 2, 3 years, perhaps.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe we'll get a spin off in the meantime.
I see what you did there.
Classic. So yeah, I watched that. I watched something else this week, and I wanted to hit myself over the head because I still can't remember what it is. But one thing I watched a few weeks ago, based off, I think it was your recommendation, or was the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's so good. It's so much fun.
Hmm.
Um, the visuals of it look great. The cast is outstanding. The story, it's a pretty good story. Good kind of twists and turns as you go along. I had a great time at that. This is right for Like they made a TV show based off The Gentleman from Guy Ritchie
They
before.
did, yeah.
This should be a TV show, or like there needs to be another sequel or another movie. I just want to see this cast. I want to see the story. I love the the winks to James Bond,
Mhm.
007, the Ian Fleming stuff. It's just so fun. Um, and like the idea that it's real, that's the fun idea to it as well. But yeah, I had a great time, and I want to see more of this type of movie. I like Guy Ritchie in general, but this one felt like he just did a really good job. I didn't feel like it was a Guy Ritchie movie.
It didn't feel like it at all, no.
It just felt like he just did a great job in making this movie, and it's so much. It's funny, it's quite violent.
It is surprising.
It's got some good action to it as well. So I had a great time. Just a really strong, long name too.
Yeah, it's I think it kind of flew under the radar a bit when it came
Hmm.
out, but I think it's really worth the watch. And
Yep.
especially if you are a Bond fan, there's like you said, there's some fun things in here.
Yeah,
And
really fun.
when you know the backstory, which I didn't know till after watching it,
Mm.
it kind of makes it enhances it a bit.
Hmm.
But I would take a sequel. I'll take a series, just whatever
Hmm.
they want to do. Also, I
Yep.
really love Henry Cavill in this.
Yeah, he's great. This is the kind of stuff he's perfect for. I think
This is what he should
he's
do more
really
of.
good at it. Yeah. Well, it's like whatchamacallit, the man from Uncle. Like I
Another
thought
movie.
he is great in that movie too.
Mhm. Has a cannibal in it too. I heard. Ian said, House of Dragon season finale was a bit of a letdown. Cobra Kai had a super fun part one finale. I'm enjoying the Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle spin-off cartoon.
Oh, that's out now?
Yeah, it came out Friday.
Dang. Shoot.
Yeah, I started to watch it, then I got distracted, so I had to turn it off. But I'll probably go back to it tonight or
Yeah,
tomorrow.
gotta get to that for sure.
That'll be quite the difference from the Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, like a
What's
palate
that?
cleanser, maybe.
Variety is the spice of life.
It is. That's what I've heard on the
That's what
streets.
you say. On the streets.
On the streets. And I saw that I was probably watching Director's Cut of Rebel Moon, made it through the first one, was even worse than the original release. I've seen some mixed things. I will
I gotta do
get
it.
to it.
I'm still gonna do it. I got to.
I'm going to do it too, but I
Yep.
am not rushing, but I will get to it.
3.5 hours each one. Oof.
Each one is 3.5 hours.
I think the first one's 3.5, and I think maybe the second one's only 2.5, or close, just under 3. I think altogether it's like 5 hours and something. So yeah,
I mean, realistically, I would be willing to watch the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings in succession,
100%.
and that's 12 hours. So
Yep, that's
maybe I
glorious stuff.
shouldn't. Huh?
That's glorious stuff, though.
Oh, it
It's
is. It is damn
good.
glorious. Some would say magnificent.
Some would say.
Oscar winning.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for my watches over the last while, even though there is something that I watched and I've completely forgotten. So
Was
just
it Footloose?
no, nobody can forget that.
Oh, okay. I have never seen that. I don't know.
Oh, you hate Kevin. You can't watch Kevin Bacon be happy and dancing,
No, I can't.
knowing that he's done horrible things to human beings
Sleepers.
and kids around the world.
The movie Sleepers. I can't. I hate Kevin Bacon.
That's why you hated Maxine.
He was good in it, but
I almost watched that too. That was on my. It was very close to clicking on that the other day.
you could. I mean,
I'm going to. I'm still going
it's a
to.
movie.
Yep.
Watch Long Legs instead.
I'm working on it. It's not on digital yet. I don't think.
End of the month.
Okay, so there you go. So I will.
That is worth the time. Long live Long Legs.
Long live long legs. All right, I think that's it for today. Got nothing to talk about. Anything else you want to chat about, Chris? We'll head out of here.
D23 is going on. If anybody has the footage for X-Men 97, send it along, perhaps. I'd like
Yeah,
to.
so they got the new suits, or not the new suits, but different suits, eh?
Phil says, don't waste your time. I'm with Phil. Maxine Schmaxine. They're giving them new suits, yeah. So if anybody has the footage of the suits or a screenshot, I do have a Twitter account, which I'll talk about in a minute.
DMs are open, people.
Send me the X-Men content.
All right, tell people where they can send you the X-Men 97 content, Chris.
Yeah, you guys can follow me at thatchris70 on Twitter. You could also follow the show that I do with my buddies Phil Walsh and Anthony Caruso over at DC Unlimited Pod. We do have a new episode out. It's a very good time, I think, but I'm biased.
Oh, yeah.
You can also follow this show at G of the Geeks on Twitter. Next week, we're probably going to have all new intro and song because I have a hankering for tinkering. So Emmett's going to take
Whole
over
new
for the
show.
Emmett's going to take over with the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Emmet Davis7. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube wherever you get your fine podcasts. All you have to do is search for Gathering of the Geeks, and you will find us right there. Ian, thank you so much for jumping on with us. Eric, I appreciate you as well. Phil, you're the best. Thanks for watching. Cookie, thank you so much for watching on this fine Sunday evening. We'll see you next week, guys. And saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
End of session.